Well, tonight on Q2, it may be rain outside in Billings right now, but brace yourself for a taste of winter. The cold has already arrived and the snow is moving in, leaving many scrambling for last-minute preparations.
Pretty fair amount of our customers do have vehicles that they would like to have a set of true snow tires on.
Plus, off the streets, the frigid temperatures have many looking for warmth.
A lot of people come to us, and you never know who's going to come through the front door, but what we know is we're always ready for them.
And pressure points.
A lot of years of tears and not really any solutions.
Thousands of pain patients may soon be seeking new alternatives. The MTN 10 o'clock news starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. This was the eerie scene this morning as deep, thick fog rolled across Billings. That fog quickly gave way to plummeting temperatures, and soon snow will begin to cover the Magic City. And as Old Man Winter starts to make a return here in Billings, that had many racing against the clock to make some last-minute preparations. Tonight we begin our winter weather coverage with David J. as several businesses saw an uptick in traffic.
Even here at the station, the engineers have had the studded snow tires put on the cars. Snow tires use a softer rubber, so the tires wear out faster, so many wait to put those tires on until the first snow. It's that time of year. And with snow of the season, customers are flooding to tire shops to put on their snow tires.
I'm getting ready to go do some hunting, and we got snow coming, so it's time to take street tires off and put some heavy-duty tires on for the winter.
As a medical courier, I just don't want to chance it, because if I get stranded, I hold up supplies and stuff like that, so I just don't want to take the risk when it's unnecessary.
Studded tires are allowed in Montana from October 1st to May 31st.
We'll get together on our schedules, though. Yeah, keep trying.
Edam's Tire and Automotive was fairly well booked up before the storm, and on days like this, the phones are ringing off the hook.
I've got a lot of longtime customers that call me every year, and we take them off in the spring and put them on in the fall like this.
And it's also a busy time for tire deliveries. Keith Blackman, a driver for American Tire Distributing, makes a 275-mile trek from Casper, Wyoming to Billings daily, typically dropping off 150 tires at 15 to 20 stores. And on this day, it's about 230 snow tires.
People know it's about to start snowing this week, so they want to get snow tires on, which I don't blame them.
And over at Tire-Rama in downtown Billings, it's quite busy, too. The advice? Get those snow tires put on before it gets too busy.
Usually stores that have snow tires, they're on a limited stock. So once they're out of that snow tire, that's it until the next year. So we usually recommend if someone is inquiring about snow tires to get them sooner rather than later. Obviously, we know that tires are a big part of everyone's life, so we try to help out where we can.
It definitely is a safety issue. It's just the thing to do.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
Well, that snow could be starting in just a few hours from now. This is a picture from near East Glacier this morning, but it is a sight that will be familiar for all by tomorrow. With the latest on what we can expect from this first winter storm, here's Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh.
Here we go. We're going to start off with a look from Great Falls. There it is, the Civic Center downtown. You can see some of the snow that's already on the ground. And how about the cold sitting at 20 degrees in the Electric City? North wind is making it feel like 8 above right now. And just outside of Great Falls, this is what it looks like on I-15. You can see some of the snow blowing around. The golf course in Red Lodge, there's some of the snow this evening. I looked downtown on the webcams to look more like you're still dealing with rain showers there. Judith Gap, you're kind of getting the theme now. Where we've got areas of snow and blowing snow, especially west and north of the Billings area. So what we're expecting is more conditions like this around Billings. Some slippery roadways possible tonight heading into tomorrow. The heaviest snow will start to move in after that.
And it's that severe cold that could spell even more trouble, especially for Billings' growing unhoused community. Our Kelsey Boggs takes a look at what emergency shelters are available around town for those seeking warmth.
Snow is in the forecast here in Billings, which means winter is officially coming. Shelters across town are preparing to welcome unhoused members of the community in need of a warm bed.
The first snowfall of the season.
Sometimes I think people say, oh no, winter's coming.
For many, it's something to look forward to.
Here in Billings, we always get kind of an early fall dump.
But for our unhoused community, It poses a question of where to find shelter.
A lot of people come to us, and you never know who's going to come through the front door.
The Montana Rescue Mission is the oldest and largest homeless shelter in the state.
On average, we're serving well over 200 individuals every single day. So it's not a small number.
The rescue mission has seen nearly double that on snowy nights. David Campbell is one of the many grateful for the compassion.
If you need a meal to come into for a meal, if you need a place to stay, there's a place to stay for the night. The shelter definitely helped the community out tremendously.
Some folks have asked, are you ever full? We've never been full, okay? Because we always just make room.
Over at the Billings Community Crisis Center,
walk them around.
A limited number of beds are available.
About 85% of the people that walk through our doors are unhoused. And to kind of give you an idea, we have 18 beds for stabilization.
The licensed mental health facility can take individuals in for up to 23 hours and 59 minutes. Then we'll help refer them to where they should go next.
If they need shelter care, then it would be the Montana Rescue Mission.
Last year, an emergency shelter also opened in First Congregational Church through the Yellowstone County Continuum of Care, but it will not reopen this year, meaning places like the CCC and Montana Rescue Mission are even more important.
Just like with my grandma, she said if another person came over for dinner, you'd add another cup of water to the soup pot and you just stretch the soup. We do the same thing.
There probably will be, and we're probably expecting that. So if somebody does need shelter for the night when it's cold and snowing out, yes, come to the Montana Rescue Mission.
In Billings, Kelsey Boggs, MTN News.
A Billings man is accused of threatening to murder former Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy. 44-year-old Richard Lee Rogers pleaded not guilty this morning to an indictment charging him with threats to injure and murder a member of the United States Congress. The indictment alleges that on February 3rd, Rogers threatened to assault and kill McCarthy. He also made repeated interstate phone calls to harass a person at the called number. According to the indictment, Rogers' intent was to retaliate against McCarthy for his performance of official duties. If convicted, he faces a maximum of 10 years in prison. It's been 3 weeks since McCarthy was removed as Speaker, and Republicans have still not been able to agree on a new one. They do have another nominee tonight. Earlier, the GOP voted to nominate Minnesota Congressman Tom Emmer. But just a few hours later, his candidacy was dead, coming to a screeching halt after former President Donald Trump posted on social media slamming him as a rhino or Republican in name only. Well, tonight they came back and nominated Louisiana Congressman Mike Johnson for the position. An internal roll call validation vote will be held tomorrow to see if he can get the 217 votes needed to win. Montana Representative Matt Rosendale said last night he's confident in all of the candidates and will back whoever comes out of the voting process. However, he was very clear on what he expects from the next speaker.
So what I'm looking for is a speaker who's going to work with the conference and get more Republican votes to pass these extreme spending measures like the debt ceiling, like a CR that we never should have brought forward, get the appropriation bills. There's 12 appropriation bills that are supposed to be utilized to transparently and responsibly fund government. The state legislature does it. All 50 state legislatures across the country do it, and Congress has had it in statute since the Budget Act of 1974, and yet has ignored their own laws.
And again, Republicans will hold a roll call vote tomorrow morning to see if Johnson has the needed votes. Well, the war in Israel continues to ramp up tonight as the country says it has launched 400 airstrikes on Hamas targets over the past day. Those attacks have led the United Nations to warn of catastrophic conditions for Palestinian civilians. The UN chief says its fuel supplies in Gaza will run out in a matter of days, meaning aid cannot be delivered. The U.S. Secretary of State is also calling for universal condemnation of Hamas's terrorism and the immediate release of more than 200 hostages. Israel has vowed to destroy the terror group in a looming ground invasion. The number of people killed in Gaza since the fighting began now sits at more than 5,000, with at least 15,000 people injured. Tonight we are checking in on the state's mission to test all untested rape kits. After a robust mission several years ago by the Montana Department of Justice to create a sex assault task force. However, a hefty $2 million in federal funding could zap that number to zero. Because as our Andrea Lutz found out, there are hundreds still sitting untested.
Cracking down on violent crime.
All violent crime in Montana has been on the rise.
Could get easier.
They're difficult cases on a number of different fronts.
With the help of $2 million. Montana's Attorney General Austin Knudsen isn't messing around when it comes to getting all of the untested rape kits in our state tested.
And so the idea here is we can get into these kits that maybe were tested before but didn't go anywhere. We can reopen them. We can get some justice on these cold cases, hopefully get them hot again, bring some perpetrators to justice.
In Montana, sexual assault kits sat on shelves of evidence facilities for years. But through the work of the state's Sexual Assault Task Force, started in 2015, 1,252 untested rape kits were collected from jurisdictions across Montana, putting a major dent in a dark period of time for victims seeking justice.
Montana, along with a lot of other states, we had a backlog of sexual assault evidence kits that were taken but were never tested.
But the darkness remains for some because there are 341 that remain untested.
It's also important that the kits get collected properly, and that's an issue that we've seen, and especially in a lot of the rural jurisdictions in Montana.
But the Montana DOJ has secured grant money to zap those numbers to zero, hiring a crime analyst, a coordinator, and for the first time ever, a cold case investigator to solely handle rape cases.
We don't have a cold case criminal team here in Montana, let alone one that's going to look at sex assault cases.
Bradley Tucker, an agent with the Montana Division of Criminal Investigation, says sex offenses are a huge part of the caseload for local agencies.
Every kit that comes in has to be tested, and then they're going back and making sure everything that has been submitted in the past gets tested as well.
All of it now weighs. Knudsen believes they'll end the backlog of untested rape kits.
That's going to be a game changer for us, I think.
In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
Well, thousands of patients in and around Billings may soon be seeking alternatives to manage their pain. This comes in the wake of St. Vincent Healthcare's recent move to close the hospital's pain management clinic in January. Tonight, our Haley Monaco dives into some other options. It could possibly work for some.
That okay?
A lot of years of tears and not really any solutions.
Bernadette Botts dealt with a life of chronic pain.
Pain management, especially for my back all those years, really was not much.
Inhale through your nose, exhale.
Until she met Dr. Bethany Nordahl. For the first time in years, Botts felt optimistic about managing her pain.
I've come to look at physical therapy not as like a fix me now type of thing, but like I need to be doing this in some form for the rest of my life.
We're not about sticking band-aids on problems. I pushed here to like keep your leg just from falling out. Physical therapy is an option. It shouldn't be something that is an afterthought.
Nordahl is anticipating a spike in patients when St. V's pain management clinic closes, and she's not alone.
A lot of times people who have chronic pain, one of the difficulties that they have navigating the healthcare system is that they think doctors tell them that they've made it all up in their head or they don't feel understood. And a lot of times I've heard patients tell me, wow, this is the first time somebody's actually listened to me and understands that my pain is real.
Stephanie Wyrock offers at-home physical therapy services.
Is this the hip you have issues with?
Well, she and Nordahl hope to be a part of the solution for patients who will be scrambling to find care.
We as physical therapists can't prescribe pain medication, but sometimes we do realize that there is a need for that. Our hope is to help people decrease their pain enough that they can eventually get off their medications. But we definitely are not anti-medication.
In Montana, you do not need a referral from a doctor to see a physical therapist, so pain management can be achieved through seeing a physical therapist.
It's restored my hope that I can be whole physically again.
In Billings, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
Still ahead on the MTN 10 o'clock news here on Q2, a Christmas stroll. Holiday Nights is back at Zoo Montana, and this year's display will be bigger and more affordable. Details next. And in sports, the Golden Bears of West High looking to punch their ticket to the AA State Championship. Highlights from the pitch are on the way.